This is an abandoned fish tank. But what's even crazier than that, there are live fish still in it. Today, we're going to rescue these survivors and build them a brand new home, filled with new friends, perfect water conditions, and plenty of food. But first, let me take you back to how I stumbled across this tank in the first place. The other day, I was scrolling through listings looking for a good deal on a fish tank, when I came across something unusual, a post about a used tank with live fish in it. Without wasting any time, I messaged the seller, met him in person, and handed over the 50 bucks to bring this mess home. The moment I got back, I attached a filter to help clear up the water. My first goal was to at least see what we're dealing with and rescue these poor fish. I'm certain the water has a bunch of issues, but luckily I always keep a quarantine tank ready for situations just like this. As the water started clearing up, I spotted something big, blue, and clawed. An enormous crawfish. I picked up the cave, and that's when I saw our pets hiding. The orange fish kept trying to hide under the crawfish, but the crawfish had other ideas. I quickly got my giant net and went in to scoop this orange guy. But this orange fish was way too fast to scoop. So I decided to go after the crustacean instead. Thankfully, it was easy to secure it in the net. I lowered our new friend into this quarantine tank. Our poor crawfish slowly exited the net into its temporary home and snugged up against the cave like it was afraid. So I quickly located the next pet and he zoomed right into the net. Let's get this colorful guy into a clean tank. Once the net hit the water, he zoomed out. Not only did this tank have live animals, but it had a blue crawfish, which is super rare. Now with our rescued pets in a good tank, I am making it my mission to bring them justice and transform this mess into a beautiful home. Before that, I wanted to take a closer look to make sure they are doing okay. At first, they were pretty camera shy. Clearly, they have been through a lot. It was hard to identify the orange fish because it kept dashing away. But I was able to identify him as a Chinese algae eater. And this was our rare blue crawfish. We cannot move on until we name these two. I was struggling to identify whether the Chinese algae eater was a boy or girl. It is quite difficult to accurately determine the sex of a Chinese algae eater. So I just named it Finn because I like the name and it just looks like Finn. To identify the gender of our crawfish, I went ahead and put her in the container. You need to see the bottom of the crawfish so you can see if it's a boy or girl. I use the container method because it's a lot safer for me and the crawfish, because I don't want to risk getting pinched and the crawfish does not get stressed out. Our rare crawfish has already been through a lot. After looking at the bottom of our container, I was able to identify that this crawfish is a girl. You can tell because the crawfish is missing the extra set of swimmers. So that means I will name her Big Bertha. I still can't believe I paid $50 for this disaster, but knowing I'm giving these guys a second chance and we got a rare crawfish, it was worth it. I don't know the last time these guys ate, so I got them some food. For Big Bertha, I got her some super worms. And for Finn, I got him some premium pellets. I threw the pellets in, but it just scared him away. Hopefully we can see him eat later when he settles in. For now, let's unbox these super worms. I popped open the container and instantly I saw these worms rummaging through the wheat bran. These super worms are packed with protein, which is essential for the growth of the crawfish's shell. Super worms can get up to 2 inches long. They have 6 small spiny legs near the front of their body, which they use for crawling. These legs are dark in color and provide grip on various surfaces. But before we feed them to Big Bertha, we're going to give our superworm some nutritional food first. This is called gut loading. I quickly cut up some bananas and dropped a piece into the worm's lair. Watch closely. The scent of the banana has gotten the attention of the worms. The substrate begins to tremble. The superworms are on the move. One by one, they emerge. It's chaos, a superworm feeding frenzy. Their tiny mandibles work furiously, each worm claiming its piece. The banana is disappearing before our very eyes. Now, with the worms packed with extra nutrients, I grabbed one with some tongs and lowered it into the tank. Big Bertha instantly latched on, but then she dashed backwards. So I wiggled it again in front of her. She grabbed a hold of the worm, but she lost her grip. Bertha did not lose interest on the third try. She used those giant claws and made sure to secure it this time. Our crawfish first inspected the worm. Finally happy with her treat, she tucked right in next to the cave. She ripped the worm apart, enjoying every second of the worm. Who knows when was the last time she had a good meal? She was ripping apart that worm like she hadn't eaten in weeks. With our new pets safe in the temporary home, let's get to work on this nasty tank. First step, drain this sewer water with our pump. Next, I took everything else out because all this stuff is probably covered in bacteria. Then, I grabbed their special sponge and removed all the dirt off the glass. This tank is looking spotless. Now, we need a lot of new upgrades to make this place special. So, I went online and ordered almost $400 worth of stuff. These guys are definitely getting an upgrade. To start the build, I want to give some color to the bottom of the tank. Before, this tank was filled with black aqua soil. So, I bought some beautiful rocks, pea gravel, and sugar white sand. This combination looks amazing, and it's going to be the best setup to help reduce stress and make our new friends feel safe. After that, I poured the sand into the center of the gravel and lined up our rocks on each side of the sand patch. I made this look absolutely beautiful, but to make our tank even better, I've added a tunnel in the corner of the tank. Perfect for any fish that might need to take cover from our queen of the tank, the crawfish. They're definitely gonna need this spot to dodge those claws. Stay tuned for some exciting additions. Now remember that cave we found in that tank? It's trash. Oh, didn't expect that to happen. Guess we need to make a custom cave. I did find these guys hiding in the cave, so let's build one. For the foundation of the cave, I will use egg crates. I cut the crates into the perfect size, and I made sure they were snapped in place. With the skeleton done, I got to spraying the cave. This pond foam will help bring our cave to life, but I have to hurry and cover the cave in rocks to help anchor the tank down and make the tank look more natural. I use lava rocks which have a porous structure, allowing beneficial bacteria to colonize and better water circulation. Our cave is looking really nice after I carved off all the shiny bits. Then I drilled some holes at the top. This custom cave is looking a lot better than that plastic. I placed the cave into the tank, but we had a problem. It's not fitting with the rocks on this side. So I repositioned the rocks and it fit beautifully. This tank is on its way to being a dream home for our new pets. But as I was filling up our tank, this happened. I guess we didn't put enough rocks on the cave for it to be held down underwater. Thankfully, I had some spare rocks and that did just the trick. It weighed it down just enough so it didn't float back up. Plus, I think it makes the tank look even cooler. While I was building, I noticed something in the quarantine tank. Our algae eater is finally eating. He would search through the substrate for the pellets. Once he found one, he latched onto it with his sucker mouth and tore it up. I am so happy to see him doing better. Now it's time for some gadgets for the cave. I bought this color changing stone to put inside of the custom cave. As I plug in the bubbler, you can see the disc create air bubbles that flow through the top of the cave. This is really looking like a magical underwater world. Not only does this stone disc look cool, it increases the tank's oxygen level, making this a healthy, natural environment. Lastly, we'll be using a water conditioner and beneficial bacteria to wrap up this build. The water conditioner will remove the chlorine in the water, and the beneficial bacteria will help kickstart the nitrogen cycle. The cave that was in here had some fake moss painted on it, so I got some real moss for our custom cave and glued it all over. This cave is looking really good, but then I noticed a small problem. These wires are sticking out of the tank, and our crawfish can use these to escape. This is why it's crucial we set up a cover to prevent him from leaving by accident. Then I turned the light on and let the tank cycle. It's been about a week since we set up our tank and a package arrived. I snapped open the box and it looks like we have 2 new species that we can pair with our rescued pets. Our package was containing some ghost shrimp and zebra danios. These new friends look like perfect additions to our transformed tank. As I released our friends into the aquarium, they wasted no time exploring every corner of the tank. The ghost shrimp inspected the substrate, made their way into the tunnels, and swam across the tank. Ghost shrimp are natural cleaners. They will help maintain the delicate balance of the ecosystem. I was getting ready to throw some pellets in when I noticed something amazing. Our ghost shrimp started dancing in front of the air stone. I guess the color changing air stone really gets them going. Actually, when the ghost shrimp do this, they're just cleaning themselves. But my favorite part of the ghost shrimp is their see-through bodies. You can literally see this ghost shrimp's heart pumping. While observing the ghost shrimp scurrying across the sand, the zebra danios wanted some camera time. These small striped swimmers brought a whole new level of energy to the aquarium. Darting through the water. Zebra danios are schooling fish that thrive in groups. We have a total of 6 of them. Danios are very curious, but they're not aggressive, making them excellent companions. These agile fish are incredibly fast swimmers, making it impossible for Big Bertha to catch. They are mid to upper level swimmers, which will keep them away from those massive blue claws. The same can't be said for our ghost shrimp. Our crustaceans tried to mimic the swimming ability of the danios. Hopefully they find the tunnel very cozy, because these openings are too small for Bertha to access. With our new friends thriving, it's time to turn our attention to the stars of this tank. Our rescued pets. Both of our rescued pets have been doing great in quarantine. We've been keeping a close eye on them, making sure they're healthy, happy, and ready to make their grand return to the main tank. Big Bertha has definitely taken a liking to the cave, while the Chinese algae eater snuggles up beside it. I even saw some strange behavior. It looks like Big Bertha is cleaning herself. I think she saw me building her new home, so she's getting ready to move. Now remember, I did not buy these guys. I found them together. Even though they get along very well, the Chinese algae eater shouldn't be paired with a crawfish. Chinese algae eaters are in constant motion, roaming the tank and sometimes becoming a target for the crawfish's claws. So this is why I picked up this guy. This is a bristlenose pleco. Bristlenose plecos look almost alien-like with those bristles on their face. Due to the bristles being very prominent, I can tell it's a boy. So I'm gonna call this guy Groot. After I was done acclimating Groot, I tossed him in. Groot has something that our Chinese algae eater doesn't. His skin is almost armor-like. So if the catfish does get close, he has armor to protect him from getting pinched. But we have another problem not including Big Bertha. Groot needs his tank to mimic a tropical environment, and this tank has no heater. So I quickly checked my random supplies box to see if I had a heater. It looks like we are in luck. This heater says it works in freshwater, which is perfect. I quickly unboxed it and placed that bad boy in. But when I was done installing the heater, I could not find Groot anywhere. Then I noticed something at the top of the cave. There he is. Groot has made his way into the custom cave. Then I noticed him resting on the top of the cave. I think Groot likes the top because the bubbles are giving him a massage. Remember when I drilled those holes at the top of the cave? That's allowing the bubbles from our stone to go through the cave. Our custom cave is Groot approved. I am happy Groot is happy in here because he is going to help clean the algae, just like Finn would have done. Let's let Groot settle in and we'll check back tomorrow. Tomorrow, Big Bertha has her most important day of her life, move-in day. It was the next morning after putting Groot in the tank, and Big Bertha was ready to go. I found her exploring beyond the cave, but then all of a sudden, she got startled, and that's when I knew this was going to be difficult. Big Bertha really loves that cave. So in order to scoop her up, I need to remove the cave. As I lifted up the cave, she was starting to peek out, and then she crawled back in. On attempt number 2, I was able to lift the cave enough for her to finally exit it. But then this happened. A pebble dropped from the cave and hit her right in the middle of her back. She instantly snapped back. That didn't look good. That could have done major damage, and I need to be extra careful when moving her now. With the cave gone, Big Bertha was trying to get a hold of Finn. So I lowered my net in and slowly tried to corral her in. It wasn't easy, but I got her. I made sure to acclimate Bertha before putting her in the transformed aquarium. After she was done acclimating, she slowly walked into the net, finally ready to go back to her home. I gently lowered her into the tank and gave her some help to exit the net. She immediately backpedaled into the cave to find some shelter. But Big Bertha went on to stay in that spot for hours. I was starting to get worried, but just when I was about to get ready for bed, I saw her scavenging in the night. It looks like she is starting to settle in, but then she noticed me and crawled back into the darkness of the cave. It was the next day, and I found Big Bertha finally exploring the cave. I was so happy to see her moving around so well. She truly looks beautiful in this tank. Her blue really makes her pop as she explores the tank floor. I cannot believe we got a rare blue crawfish in that nasty tank. As she was exploring, she did something that left me shocked. She tried to crawl into the tunnel, but Bertha is so massive that she wasn't able to go inside. I even thought she got stuck, but she was able to crawl right back out. That did not stop her from trying on the other side of the tank. It looks like our tunnel is going to be a great place for a ghost shrimp to go and hide if they ever feel like they need to escape Big Bertha's massive claws. The tunnel was not the end of Big Bertha's inspection of the tank. She finally made her way to the back of the cave, where she first tried climbing the heater, which is too slippery for her to crawl onto. I made sure to position the water heater vertically. Her curiosity did not stop there. She wanted to explore every part of the tank. I was not kidding. After I saw her disappear in the back, I saw her reach the top of the cave. They have 4 pairs of walking legs that are highly flexible. They're equipped with small hooks and spines at the tips. These adaptations allow them to grip onto various surfaces. Crawfish also have a tail for stability. You could tell Big Bertha has mastered the skill of climbing. It was truly amazing to see her explore the cave I have made for her. Crawfish are naturally curious, but I do think she has been searching for a snack, especially after I saw her stick her head into the tunnel twice. So I dropped some pellets into the ecosystem. Our zebra Daniels were quick to take a nibble, But Big Bertha was not very far behind from joining the feast. I found a ghost shrimp taking a quick bite before Bertha got there, scavenging through the substrate. She could smell the food. Finally, she locks in on the pellets. Once she made her move, the ghost shrimp was quick to leave the area. Big Bertha started chomping down the pellets. She would take advantage of her many legs and held on to multiple pellets at a time as she ate. I think Big Bertha is doing really well after her accident. Her exoskeleton is so tough that the piece of gravel did not injure her. But I still feel bad about what happened. So, coming up, I have a surprise for her. Satisfied with her meal, Big Bertha zipped right back into her new cozy home. With the massive crawfish gone, our zebra Daniels took advantage, zooming in and out. While watching the zebras tear through the pellets, guess who is making their way back to the table? Our ghost shrimp noticed the coast was clear and went back to grazing on the pellets. He then decided to try to take one with him, but a fish came and startled him. Deciding he was full, he went back to his corner. Here is my please forgive me treat. I filled up this gummy bear mold with some live bloodworms. Then I noticed some of the worms trying to escape, so I had to put those back in. Once it was filled up, I threw it in the freezer. It was the next day and Big Bertha was calling for the gummy bear. I put the gummy bear together with her watching and she remembered. But as I was watching her tell me to get the bloodworms, I noticed the rocks were full of algae. That should not be the case when you have a playcoat like Groot who eats algae. That's when I realized Groot is lazy and he just wants to chill at the top getting a massage. So I collected all the rocks and decided to clean them myself. Once the rocks were clean and back in the tank, I took the bloodworm gummy bear out of the freezer and started to take it out of the molding. Then I lowered the gummy bear towards Big Bertha using some tongs. She was instantly intrigued, but I let go of the tongs too soon and it floated back up to the surface. Bertha came out asking me to bring it back. So I lowered it back down and this time she locked down the tongs with her claws while picking at the cube with her legs. Then she dragged the cube back into her home. Big Bertha was slurping down the bloodworms like noodles. Fun fact, crawfish lack teeth. They use their maxi lillipeds to handle their food, and then they use mandibles, which are jaw-like structures used to break down food. Crawfish often scatter small bits of food while eating, which can attract tank mates like fish or shrimp. Big Bertha went on to enjoy her please forgive me treat for the next couple hours. When I came back later, I noticed a zebra Daniel slowly making his way to the pile of worms. He was picking at the mess Big Bertha had created. But he was sure not to get close because Bertha is still standing guard by her tree. A couple minutes later, I found Big Bertha cleaning herself towards the back of the cave. This allowed our ghost shrimp and Daniels to gain the confidence to finally start picking at the gummy bear. Then, the crawfish decided to do something downright strange, and I got it all on video. It performed a wacky stretch maneuver, splaying out its limbs as if it had just eaten the world's biggest meal. I think Big Bertha enjoyed the bloodworm gummy bear and has accepted my apology. We have really come a long way since we found Big Bertha and Finn in that abandoned tank. The tank has gone through a major transformation, turning into a wonderful ecosystem with tunnels, custom caves, and every essential instrument to make sure our pets have the perfect home. If you guys love our new amazing pets, please like and subscribe.